why Sam actually lost that game on time, because he got this opportunity to go into king and pawn endgame, which he was analyzing.
In a way, it was very unlucky for him because for many moves until that moment, he really had nothing to calculate. So he was very securely making moves in the allotted time. And then that opportunity to maybe win on the spot if it works out was presented to him, and he burned all of his time trying to figure out if it actually does work.
And we had handshakes.
Yep.
And on the board, by Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, 1c4, the English. And that has taken me by surprise, and it's taken Ray Robson by surprise.
And Ray saying, just a second, what is it about my repertoire that you're trying to get me to play? And the only problem I ever had with the English is white, 1c4, is it does give black an opportunity to get a foothold in the center with e5. I've always thought that that is the most challenging answer to the English, and Ray agrees. The four knights are becoming increasingly popular, and it's this move e2, e4, kind of taken this tournament a little bit by storm, hasn't it, Peter?
We've only had the pure English with e4, trying to figure out where he's being caught.
Exactly.
What is MVL expecting him to do, and how to maybe fine-tune it.
Bishop b4, one of the most traditional moves. d7, d5, I've always kind of felt was the most challenging, but bishop b4 time.
Yeah, and the reason why Ray slowed down and why we were surprised with Maxime's choice to start with the English is because we've often seen him start with the king's pawn opening and sometimes with the queen's pawn opening. It feels more his style of play, especially 1e4. He's known to be an aggressive theoretician, so this is definitely interesting to see this opening approach, trying to get Ray out of any preparation that he might have had with this one. And we see Maxime continues to blitz out the moves. He's got more time on the clock than he started with.
Yeah, knight d5. I have essayed this move.
But what I'm scared about is his clock situation right now.
30 seconds, yeah.
33 seconds against 9 minutes in a position where you will still have to play extremely precisely.
Exactly.
It's still a very, very sharp position.
For me, I'm looking at a tactic here please fall for it. I want to play the move bishop to b2. So I really desperately want you to defend the pawn on g7, and now to introduce...
Nicely done.
Yeah, a knockout shot. Bishop takes g7, rook takes g7, rook e8, and I do win your queen for rook and bishop. So how is Ray... Well, asked and answered. Queen c6 check.
Best move in the position. By the way, king h3, and he will go back, I suspect, creating a lot of discovered check threads.
You mean queen d7?
Queen d7, yeah, I'm still
going back.
And that's really nice, because if you give a check on the back rank, black retreats with a rook with a counter check on white's king on h3.
It's like those commercials they make.
On the board.
Queen d7.
How is Ray Robson so precise a play? How many times in this tournament we've seen him play on seconds and play the absolute best moves?
I don't know how he does it. Tanya, you're really... Wow. But here I've got to ask the question.
Why is g4 not winning? Yeah, exactly. Why is g4 not winning? I'm so far a bit confused. Apparently it loses because after rook f4, bishop takes g7. Bishop takes g7 isn't made. We can just take on g7 and we still have rook f8 there.
Yes, in this case, bishop takes g7. The rook is not in the way. Queen takes g7, as you said. Peter, rook e8 check, rook f8.
And everything holds together.
Perfectly.
So the way for Maxime to continue here playing for a win would be to go forward with the king, maybe, just to play king h3, h4.
Wow. But I have to say that g4 can be a very tempting option here.
True.
Because you're looking at all these ideas of bishop takes pawn, and it takes a lot of class to realize that bishop takes pawn is actually not checkmate.
Exactly.
So, of course, Maxime, and they've repeated it. He is repeating, and this is the second time. King g2 would be a draw on the spot.
The king h4, good general leads his army to victory.
Is he going to do it, Yasser? That's the big question. Does Maxime want to play for a win in this position?
But Peter, if you do play king 8, what's the engines at the eval? Zeros. Because?
Well, you have to drop back to f8 now, because now bishop takes g7 with rook on f5 hanging is a threat.
Genuine threat.
White, in response, doesn't have an immediate threat, but you can improve another one.
This is the moment. He hasn't decided yet.
Yeah.
When your opponent's playing on seconds, it's so tempting to continue with king h4, but king h4 on its own is such a brave move to play. The queen's on the board, the rook's on the board, and here you are marching up with the king.
Well, I'll leave it to the historians to talk about my courageous play, but I do...
He doesn't do it.
That is a draw.
And that's it, he claims.
Yes.
Ray Robson claims he's going to say queen c6. Handshakes, yes.
I'm just stunned that...
And look at that, I think they're analyzing the exact line that we're talking about.
King h4.
Sitting on the board right now, such a complicated position with the rook stepping onto e8.
Yeah.
And MVL making the universal hand gesture for, I have no idea what's going on there, chose not to do it.
Let's jump to two of our remaining games.